Hi, this is Vanessa, and you can find this podcast slash video that's streaming live right now on LinkedIn and YouTube on Rumble, YouTube, all podcasting platforms. Hello Vanessa Media is also on hellovanessamedia.com and hellovanessamedia.com/info. So check out the screen to see where all of the locations are that you can check it out. So if you're on Rumble YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, you can check it out on a podcasting platform if that's something you're interested in. All right, so my name is Vanessa Lech, if you couldn't already tell. And today's video is going to be a really quick impromptu video that I had no plan on doing. I didn't plan on doing any video at all because we've got like a ton of videos slash podcasts in the pipeline that I'm in the middle of editing and posting. And some of them are already posted on Rumble right now and are live, and others are in draft format on YouTube. They're going to be posted later. And some haven't even made it onto my podcast yet because it's just so time consuming. I have other things to deal with. But I wanted to do a quick update basically about a really boring, mundane phone call that I had at the Alexandria Louisiana Veterans Affairs Medical Center, which is on my screen right here. You can see it. I decided to pull it up because I've done so many videos mentioning this medical center now. And, you know, years ago, I'm trying to like point at it right there. There it is. Years ago, I had this very naive notion I could just work things out with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs and that everything would just work out just hunky-dory. And I realized as of 2021, this year, that's just never going to happen. And it's very naive to ever think that it was even a possibility. You know, as I've mentioned before, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs has become the bane of my existence through the years and my nemesis, my inescapable enemy. And, you know, the amount of time I've spent trying to like solve problems or obtain a service or services definitely outweighs the time I've spent receiving any of the services or having the problem solved to begin with. And today was no exception. I called for a basic administrative thing that it wasn't even an issue. It was just an administrative task. And this person that picked up, who's an employee of the Alexandria Veterans Affairs Medical Center, was talking smack to me on the phone. Now, if you've been following along at all, you'll know from my other White House hotline video that this happened before with a different employee in a different department. And I complained and complained and complained. And they ended up implementing recordings of all phone calls, is what I was told, for customer service, which this would definitely qualify today, to basically deal with these kinds of quality control type issues. Okay. I hope it's true, but I'm really afraid that, of course, with the way things are at the VA, in my luck, it'll be like, oh, this one call wasn't recorded. And be like, oh gosh, go figure, right? So anyways, basically, yeah, it was a short phone call and the person was just horrible customer service and talking smack to me and definitely should not be working at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs whatsoever. And this person could definitely have been the mascot for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs with the way they're behaving. And this is typically what I see. This is typically the behavior that I see, where you just have employees that just do whatever they want. And typically what I see whenever any issue, whether it's an employee bringing up issue or a veteran bringing up issue, is that they're just blown off, given the runaround, and totally and completely ignored. That's the MO of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. That's their MO. Like, that's what they do. And after going on 10 years of dealing with this organization, I know this for sure. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. So this is the Alexandria Louisiana Veterans Affairs Medical Center. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of scroll through so you guys just can all see this. All right. So this is their homepage. Very boring, not at all exciting. They actually were saying that they had a town hall back in April. I never received an email of it, even though my email was in their system. I never received a voicemail about it, even though they have my phone number at the VA. And that was irritating because this is something I constantly see where it's like, I don't think that the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs really cares, specifically the Alexandria Louisiana Veterans Affairs Medical Center in my region. I don't think they really care about veteran participation in their different things, whether it be a town hall or a retreat that's specific for certain veterans. Because if they did, they would make sure that every single veterans had a voicemail left, every single veterans had a letter received, every single veterans had an email sent to them, or whatever their preferred communication. Every single veterans had a text message sent to them, notifying them of different events if that's what they wanted. But they don't do that. They just basically ignore you essentially. And then I don't think they have very good turnouts at these events, like the town halls or whatever, because I don't think they want to deal with veterans. They just want the billions of dollars that the government keeps giving them. And that's it. That's what I believe. That's the conclusion that I have come to. All right. So says there's VA listening sessions here. I'm actually going to click on this because this is news to me. I'm curious to see whether or not there's anything truly new here. I'm going to look at this. Okay, yeah. So it's already passed. Tuesday, April 27th, 2021, right here. That is exactly what I was talking about. It already passed. It was a virtual session. I had no idea about it. I'm definitely plugged in compared to most veterans, and I had no idea about this. So this is just typical VA right here. Just typical. You can't, yeah, it's just typical. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Okay. So as soon as I got off the phone with the individual who shouldn't be working at the VA but is, talking smack to me at the Alexandria Louisiana Veterans Affairs Medical Center today, as soon as I got off the phone with them, I called the White House VA hotline, the Veterans Experience Office, because in addition to publicly advocating for change, I'm also making formalized reports as well every chance I get whenever these kinds of incidences occur, because working out with the VA management has not been working out. All right. So I called them, the VA White House hotline. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And surprisingly, 99% of the people in my experience are actually really nice, and really helpful. And they're really trying hard. They're VA employees, which shocks me. Because I can't believe that they work for the VA, because this is not your typical VA employee. I can tell you that right now. All right. And there's just some information about it down here. So while I was on the phone with the VA White House hotline, I also was busy sending emails through my Healthy Vet about the situation that occurred with the employee that was talking smack to me on the phone. I sent the same exact email, very short and brief, to the patient advocate at the Alexandria Louisiana Veterans Affairs Medical Center, as well as to the another area of the medical center. And I'm really not expecting much of anything, because it just seems like there's no accountability hardly at the VA. Okay. There's hardly no justice. And if you were an employee or a veteran that speaks up, like obviously I am right now, and files a formalized complaints and publicly advocates for change, they're just going to ignore you and label you as a troublemaker or a problem child or whatever. And the reality is I don't care, because I think to myself, there are people twice my age that cognitively are not able to function fully, and they're likely receiving the same garbage service that I just received today. They're receiving the same, and they're probably having a worse outcome because of it. So somebody has to speak up and call this stuff out for what it is. This bad behavior at the VA, this lack of accountability. Somebody has to do it on a regular basis. And that's what's happened with me. I've basically turned into a VA news show over here, because this machine, this VA machine, that's what it is a content creation machine, is really what it's become for me. Anyways, so that's what I did today. I'd be curious to hear if you've had any experiences of any VA employees talking smack to you on the phone or otherwise, and how you handled that. I'd actually be very curious to hear about that. All right. I wish you all the best, and best of luck if you're dealing with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Lord knows you will need it. Godspeed. Bye.